Virginia, a 25-year Navy veteran. So I'm going to make the assumption that you have been deployed overseas on a number of occasions. Where have you been stationed?
Oh, I've been stationed in Norfolk, out in Hawaii in Pearl Harbor, in Newport, Virginia, or Newport, Rhode Island, and also down on the Gulf Coast down in Texas.
Favorite place for a Navy man?
Oh, I think Hawaii.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. All right, good for you. Becky Schiavo from Warwick, New York, had a fun honeymoon.
I did. It was a 5-week cross-country road trip. We drove to New York to California and back, ate a lot of good food, saw a lot of good sights, and we're still happily married today. So
well, good for you, but it was driving in a car, not on bicycles or anything like that.
Correct. It was in a car. Got to know everything there is to know about each other.
Okay, good. Andrew Herringer is our champion. And what's this about you trying to, it sounds like you were trying to have fun with people in Edinburgh. No matter what they asked you, you had a consistent response.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
So my buddies and I were in Edinburgh, and we decided, let's do bar trivia. We're good at trivia, right? And it was all English or British pop culture, and we just weren't doing well. So at one point, we thought the answer was Sir Mick Jagger, and it wasn't. And at that point, we decided, let's just guess Sir Mick Jagger for everything. To most humorous effect when the question was, who played Moses in the Ten Commandments? And we had a nice little Party of the Red Sea dance that went along with it.
Okay, good to know. Ben, you're in command of the board. And
let's go with 30 years for 1,000.
Centered in Italy from 1909 to 1916, this art movement emphasized the dynamism of modern life and technology. And the movement is futurism. Pick again, Ben.
Okay, 30 years for 600.
In the tumultuous vote in this year, John Adams lost his bid for re-election. Ben.
What is 1800?
You got it.
Back then, no one knew for 6.
No one knew this word for a certain men's hairstyle. An early use was in a 1994 Beastie Boys tune. No one was familiar with the term mullet. Ben, go again.
Okay, always in fashion for 600.
A man can feel quite at home in a tropical setting by wearing one of these, also called a toquilla straw hat. Andrew.
What is a Panama hat?
That's it.
New twist on Jeopardy favorites for 200.
In more than 500 clues about this Shakespeare play, it's never come up that one of its sources was Gesta Danorum. Andrew.
What is Hamlet?
Yeah.
New twists 400.
250 plus clues on this German-American physicist, but none mentioned that he didn't wear socks. The big toe always makes a hole. Ben.
Who is Einstein?
Yes.
Salute to 7,000 for 600.
55 is where I set my 7,000 model of this customizable bed. Becky.
What is sleep number?
Right, with less than a minute to go now.
Always in fashion for 1,000.
Steve Madden's Topaz is a stylish example of this versatile low-cut slip-on shoe with a heel. Andrew.
What is a loafer?
No. Becky or Ben? What is a pump? Back to you, Becky.
Always in fashion for 800.
This formal accessory was once a sash worn by British military personnel at dinner in India. Ben.
What is a cummerbund?
Yes.
Always in fashion for 4.
Most women can look smart, regardless of size, in one of these narrow skirts named for a writing implement. Ben.
What is a pencil skirt?
That's it.
New twist for 800.
The first mention of him, season 16, some 170 clues later, will tell you Professor Binns taught him the history of magic. Andrew?
Who is Harry Potter?
Yeah. And with that, you go to 3,600. You're back in the lead. Becky is going to go first in Double Jeopardy, however, when we return following these messages. This game today is a lot closer than what we've been experiencing recently on Jeopardy. So, Becky, here are the categories for your selection. That movie title is legal. Caves, The Alliterati, Ebb and Flow, notice the quotation marks there, and then Guardians of the Galaxy. Where do we start?
Let's start with Of the Galaxy for 400, please.
One theory says our sun came from a dwarf galaxy in this constellation of the Archer, not the Milky Way. Ben?
What is Sagittarius?
Yes.
We'll go Of the Galaxy for 1,600.
Answer. Daily double. All right, Commander. You are now in the lead with 3,800.
All right, let's try it again. Let's make it a true daily double.
Okay, it's a different category. Let's see how well you do with this clue. Galaxies are organized into hierarchical structures called these, containing hundreds to thousands of galaxies each.
What are catalogs?
No, what are clusters? Clusters. So it cost you again. Back to zero. Go
All
ahead.
right, we'll go galaxy for 2,000.
The Milky Way is surrounded by a cloud of hot gas known by this angelic term. Andrew.
Was the halo?
Halo is right.
The Literati 400.
When he was born in Dublin in 1882, this writer got a double dose of alliteration. His middle names are Augustine Aloysius. Becky.
Who is James Joyce?
Right.
Galaxy for 1,200.
Seen here is the Sunflower Galaxy, a perfect example of this major type named for its shape. Becky.
What is Spiral?
Spiral, yes.
A Literati for 800.
He went bankrupt insuring British ships in 1692. In 1719, he made a bundle writing about a shipwrecked sailor. Andrew.
Who's Defoe?
Daniel Defoe is the one.
Movie title 400.
Pauly Shore actually wants to get sequestered and gets himself assigned to this, the title of a 1995 comedy. Andrew.
What is Jury Duty?
Good.
Movie title 800.
Ashley Judd learns the meaning of a Fifth Amendment protection in this thriller, whose title is near and dear to me. Andrew.
What is Double Jeopardy?
That's the movie.
Movie title 1200.
Rather than take a settlement, attorney Paul Newman goes to trial in this legal drama. Andrew.
What is Legal Eagles?
No. Becky or Ben?
What is class action?
No. The movie with a Boston setting was The Verdict. Back to you, Andrew.
Movie title 1600.
Answer there. The other daily double. You have more than twice as much money as your nearest opponent, Becky.
We'll do 3600.
Okay, for an even 10,000, here's the clue. Harrison Ford played Jack Ryan in this film, whose title comes from a legal test devised by Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes.
What is Clear and Present Danger?
That's it. And the 10,000 is in front of you on your scoreboard.
Movie title 2000.
Marlene Dietrich is called as this, the title of a film based on a play by Agatha Christie. She is called as a witness for the prosecution. Back to you, Andrew.
Literati 1200, please.
She scandalized Atlanta with a flapper dance at a 1921 debutante ball. 15 years later, she really burned the town up. Andrew.
Who is Mitchell?
Margaret Mitchell, correct.
Literati 1600.
Let's play the glass bead game and see if you can name this German 1946 Nobelist. Andrew.
Who is Hesse?
Hermann Hesse. Right you are.
Literati 2000.
Name this 1985 winner of the National Book Award for Fiction and speak up so I can hear you over the white noise. Becky.
Who is Don DeLillo?
Yes.
Guardians for 400.
U.S. Coast Guard units based in Cleveland, Ohio are known as the guardians of these bodies of water. Becky.
What are the Great Lakes?
Correct.
Guardians for 800.
Four-letter term for a person, usually a minor, legally placed in the charge of a guardian. Ben.
What is a ward?
Yes.
Guardians for 2,000.
In Arthurian legend, this wounded monarch is the guardian of the Holy Grail. Andrew.
Who is Amfortis?
No. Ben.
Who is the Fisher King?
Yes.
Guardians for 1,600.
The scarlet and gold dress uniforms of these guardians of the Tower of London date back to 1552. Andrew.
Who are the Beefeaters?
Beefeaters or yeoman warders? Yes.
Guardians 1200.
Keeping it safe is the motto of this Red Beret group founded by Curtis Sliwa. Ben.
Who are the Guardian Angels?
Yeah.
We'll go ebb and flow for 2,000.
These awards honor excellence on the internet. Becky?
What are the Webbies?
Webbies, right you are.
Ebb and Flow for 400.
A Flintstone family member. Andrew.
Who is Pebble?
Pebbles, yes.
Caves 400.
Bracken Cave in Texas is home to the world's largest colony of Mexican free-tailed these. Ben?
What are bats?
Bats, yes.
Caves for 2,000.
The waves in Fingal's Cave in these inner Scottish islands inspired Felix Mendelssohn to write an overture. Andrew.
What are the Hebrides?
Yes, the Inner Hebrides.
Ebb and Flow 1600.
It's from the Yiddish for a luckless sap. And that would be a Nebish. Less than a minute to go now, Andrew.
Caves 800.
In Lebanon's Jaita Grotto, one of these hangs 27 feet from a cave ceiling. Becky?
What is stalactite?
Yes.
Caves for 1,200.
To be legally called this blue cheese, it has to be aged in the Combloux caves of southern France. Andrew?
What is Roquefort?
Good.
Caves 1,600.
The 5-mile perimeter of this sandstone rock in Australia is dotted with numerous shallow caves. Ben?
What is Ayers Rock?
Yes.
Ebb and flow for 12.
To step hard on the gas. Andrew?
What is to floor it?
Good.
Ebb and flow 800.
It's the diagram seen here. Andrew?
What is the flow chart?
Flow chart it is, and now the last clue. The farthest galaxy from Earth ever detected is about 77 sextillion miles away, or a mere 13.1 billion of these. Becky?
What are light years?
Light years, that's it, and that takes you up to $9,000. Now, before we get you three into Final Jeopardy, a change in scoring, and it will affect Andrew. Good news and bad news. The bad news is you said pebble in the Flintstones clue a little while ago instead of pebbles. That'll cost you $800. However, your response of Amfortas with regard to the Arthurian legend is acceptable. In some versions, that was the name of the Fisher King. So you're picking up $3,200. The scores are now correct, and here comes Final Jeopardy. Today, the category is religion. Say a prayer, make your wagers. We'll return with the clue in a moment. Category is religion, and this is the clue. The N in the INRI, written on the Christian cross, refers to this place. 30 seconds, players. Good luck. Come to Captain Ben Holm first. He had 4,800, and he wrote down the N stands for Nazareth. He is right, and his wager was 4,800. He moves up to 9,600. Now we come to Becky. She had 9,000. Will she add to that? Oh, what is Nazarene? No, sorry. That's going to cost you 601. Boo hiss. Now we come to Andrew Herringer. This game was a runaway for him. Did he come up with Nazareth? He did, and his wager? 3,000. He picks up 24,200 today and now has a 5-day total of 96,599. He plays again tomorrow. Will you play? I hope so.
Prizes for our second and third place contestants provided by Ali. Promotional consideration provided by... This is Jeopardy! Please welcome today's contestants. A retail specialist from Louisville, Kentucky, Chris Miller. An academic outreach librarian from San Antonio, Texas, Sandy Hood. And our returning champion, a neurologist from Sacramento, California, David Seminar, whose 2-day cash winnings total $52,601. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our program. David, our current champion, is as impressive a Jeopardy player as we've had on the program in quite some time. As you just heard, he's won about $50,000 in just 2 appearances. And as you know, this year we changed the rules, and you keep coming back as champion as long as you keep winning. There's no 5-time limit. So we don't know what the limitations are for David, except those provided today by Sandy and Chris. And they'll have something to say. Let's go into the first round. Good luck to all 3 of you as you get set to deal with this material. Historic celebrity scandals is the first category, followed by TV sidekicks. You have to identify the sidekick. Next, herbs and spices, hot spots, best-selling U.S. newspapers, and finally, we'll deal with colorful language, but language you can use on television. David, start us off.
TV sidekicks for 200.
First one, Tonto. Sandy.
Who's the Lone Ranger?
Correct.
Historic Historic celebrity scandals for 200.
That's no lady. It's this 11th century